Good evening or good afternoon, and welcome to the 12th episode of Elliott Astro-Imaging. I am your host here, and I'm doing a special dinner episode tonight as I wanted to get the starless image of a hydrogen alpha image on an RGB image. And I wanted to talk about this for the last couple of episodes, and I wanted to get that done today. As we are looking really good for tonight for imaging. That won't be for a few hours, but I wanted to at least get this done and show everybody the image that we're going to have. And what we are doing is I'm just finishing up a few things here for the cropping and whatnot of getting the actual image itself. This was the RGB image that was taken a couple episodes ago of the Pelican Nebula. And I also have the image for the actual Pelican Nebula in hydrogen alpha, which is right here. And what I'm doing is I'm just getting this set up here. There are a couple of pixels here, so was working on that a little bit here. Some of the darks and flats didn't quite work out with what I was supposed to do. However, you can actually see here, you can see that with the horizontal banding and the vertical banding, you can see it starting to go away. The next thing is making the star smaller, and I'm just typing that in here. So this way I like to label everything here, and then I can be able to go back and forth here so we can actually see the stars actually getting smaller. There you go. And then the next one is the deep space noise reduction. Okay. And then we can just hit the button here for that. And then we're going to increase the star color. So you can actually see how the stars actually got a lot brighter and a lot more color to them, that's what I want. All right. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Filter, and we're going to go to HLVG. And this is the Hasta La Vista green. This is what I was going to talk about the last episode. And what this does is it takes out the green on the image. And that is what it does is it actually uses the green in there, and you have to get rid of it. So that will do it for you. The next thing what I like to do is going to Gradient Exterminator, which is what I was talking about in the last episode also. And this creates a flat image. It gets rid of the vignetting. It gets rid of the corners, the edges, and whatnot. It also creates more of a colorful image, which is looking a lot better. It's looking really cool. We'll zoom out here so you'll be able to see it. Okay, so now this is all done and ready to go. And now we will bring this over. So with this one, what we're going to do is we're going to merge these ones together. So this way all of them will be together all on that. And then we're just going to move it over to the image that we have here. So now it is here. Now what we do is we show the transformation controls. And what we're going to do is we're going to stretch it and make it a little bit bigger. And we're going to change the opacity, which is right here. So this way we can see the two stars together, and we're going to rotate it and get this dead on. Now you can do this very easily just by matching the stars together. So we're just getting this where we need it to be. And we're going to change the opacity on this. It doesn't need to be 100% perfect, as what we're going to be doing with this image is we're going to be taking the stars out of the hydrogen alpha anyways, and then we're just going to be applying the image. So it's not going to be absolutely perfect, but it'll look really cool towards the end. I have done this a couple of times up to this point. It does take a little bit of time, so we are almost there. That is actually pretty good. That is not too terrible. So we're going to leave it at that. So we're going to apply the image, and then what this will do is then you'll be able to see the actual image, and that's actually not too bad. All I'm doing is toggling the hydrogen alpha image on top of the regular one, and that's actually really not bad at all. Okay, so then we take that and we change the color of the hydrogen alpha to red. Now, why do I do that? Well, it's black and white. So what you want to do is you want to get this to a red which hydrogen alpha that's in the sky. Yes, I know it's a little different, but that's how I do it. Again, like I said in the first episode, each person is different, and you'll be able to see the difference. So I crank the red as high as possible. Now, I know the natural sky color here is not red, it's dark, and that's fine. So the next thing we do is we're going to get rid of these stars. And I've done a lot of research over the last couple of weeks trying to figure out what is the best way to get rid of the stars in this image. So the first thing we do is we make a copy of it, so then this way you'll be able to see the difference, and I'll be able to go back and forth. Is you do the color range, and you select the stars that have a certain color, and you just go from there. So what we do is we just go and find a specific color on here, and we got to make it a little bit bigger here so this way we can get the exact color. Perfect, right there. So we hit OK. So now you can see that on the brighter stars here, there is a halo around it or a circle around it, and that's what you want. So now you can see that there's circles all around these brighter stars. The next thing I do, and again, I have looked this up through many, many websites, you go to expand. This is all preference. You could do 6, 7, 8, 5, whatever it is, and this will expand it out this way. Okay? Then the next thing you do is you feather it, and you go to select, modify, and you go to feather. And 5 is good, so you feather it. What this will do is this will actually make it a more round, and you can see that the brighter stars are there. So then you go to filter, other, and minimum. And you just crank this as high as it can go without damaging the image. And you go as best as you can without going too much. And then we just hit Control and deselect. Now, there are a lot of stars out there, and you look at it and say, well, stars are still there. Well, what's going on? The next thing we do is we go to noise, and we go to dust and scratches. And what this will do is this will not ruin the image itself, but will get rid of the stars. So you can start to see that this is starting to go away, but still keeping the detail, which is what you want. You want the detail to still be there on the image. Now, there's still going to be dots and whatnot. The Gaussian blur will get rid of that. And that'll be the next thing here. And again, this is all preference. This is all what people do, and they'll be able to get it just right. And all this is really doing is it's taking out the white on the stars. Now, the very, very bright stars that you see here, they are still going to show up on the image. So now you can really see the actual image. What I'm doing is I'm getting rid of the stars as much as possible without losing the detail on the actual nebulosity. That should be really good right there. Okay. So we're going to use the healing brush here to get rid of the really bright stars. That's this one right here. We just click, boom, gone, and boom, gone. And that will actually get rid of those. And when you overlap the other one, it'll be perfect. Now, the next thing I do is I use the Gaussian blur. And you go over here, Gaussian blur. We don't want to do too much. We just want to do just enough to get rid of those stars. That's perfect right there. So now when you look at this image here, that is a starless image. And we can actually see the difference between the two of them. That was the regular image with the stars, and this is the image without the stars. So you can see that the actual detail of the nebula is still there. It's a little blurred, but it is still there. And then you have the actual nebulosity. I'm doing this quickly only because, live. But you get the gist, and I'm going to be able to just merge these two together. Now, how you do that is you get rid of the layer 1, and you want these to be merged. So what I did here is, you don't have to do these, but that's a great way of doing it. You can just merge the layers together. So you have layer copy 1, and you have what's called less crunchy, but it would be something different there. So you go to Image, Apply Image. There it is. Thought it was on the bottom. Okay, so now you have a new window that pulls up, and it's called Apply Image. And what I like to do is I like to keep the original image up first. Okay, so you're going to use this one as a set, as the set image first. Okay, and then you're going to use the 15 by 180. That was the image that I took of the regular RGB. And then you want to use layer copy 1, which is right here, and you want to use it as an addition. Okay, so when you're looking at this, you'll be able to see the regular stars. You can use add, you can use multiply, you could change different ones on here to get what you want. You can do screen, you could do color dodge. Color dodge is actually really cool, and you'll be able to see what you get there, and you get the actual nebulosity on top of the actual it being dark. So you can actually try that out for, to see. And you can see the stars there, and the stars are actually pretty cool, and they're actually really neat. Not the best, but it is really cool, and it does go right back to that. And you can change the opacity on it, so that way it's not as bright. And then you can actually see the image there, and you can see the detail in there while still keeping the regular stars. So you can see the stars are here. You got the white star. You got all the stars up at the top. And just by doing that, you can actually change the opacity on it, and you can preserve the transparency, and you can move it up, you can move it down. I like to keep it at about 70 to 75%, so this way you do get the nebulosity on there. The next thing you do is you want to reprocess this image, and how you do that, and a lot of people don't know how this works. So you go and you do the transform selection, okay, and then you move this here, and get it somewhat in between. Doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, there you go. And then you just hit this button here, and you can apply the transformation. So that's on there. And then what I do is you cut it. Okay, so now it's gone off of that. So now we're just going to minimize that, and we're going to open up a new image. Okay, and whoops. Okay, and edit and paste. So here is your image right here. So this is the processed image that was the starless image on top of the RGB. So at this point, then what we're going to do is we are going to just highlight here. So you can see that it's at an angle. You don't want it on an angle, so you just take this and you make it as close to on the edges as possible, and you hit crop. So now you have the actual image here, and then you can play with it, and you can actually get it just right of where you want it. Now the stars are actually set, so you don't have to really worry about that. But now is where you actually use the enhanced DSO, because now you have an actual DSO on the image, and you can actually use this to pop out that background of the red, still keeping the stars intact, and then you can just go from there. So this way you can do that. And then after that, then you'd be able to use the gradient exterminator on this, because now you have, two different images that are combined. You want to get a flat image between the two of them. So this will take just a second here. Okay, so now, so now that's done for enhancing the DSO, and you can really see the DSO on this now, which is deep sky object. All right, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the gradient exterminator on that. So this is going to create a flat image, which is what you want. So you can see that it got rid of the blue. Okay. And then after that, I like to just go to levels just so you can make it a little bit darker just for presentation purposes. So if you want to show your image, you can make it, a lot nicer. So that is how you take an image from a hydrogen alpha to an RGB image. Now, if you were to just overlap one on top of the other, you would not get the white stars. You would not get the orange stars or the white stars or anything like that. It would look really bad. I just threw this together right now. It's just so that way, for purposes, you'd be able to see it and just use the settings on your own images, and you'd be able to see how it works. So it turned out really well. Of course, now you really can't see it very well because it is on a podcast, but at least you get the basis of what it looks like and how it goes from there. I will post the finalized image on the Facebook group page of the Elliott Astro-Imaging. I'll also post it on Google, and then you'll be able to use the tutorial, and I'll post the step-by-step on there too. So this way, if you wanted to try it on your own Astro images, you most certainly can, and then just go from there. So I'm going to end the broadcast. I will be back later tonight, and I will try number 3. I'm hoping we can actually get that second set to stitch it. If we can't, well, we're going to figure something out. But I should be out here, as I posted on the Facebook group page, should be out here at about 10:15. If I run into any problems or any delays, I will let everybody know. I will post on Facebook, so this way everybody can get an idea. I shouldn't have any huge glaring problems tonight, as everything looks to be running really well. So I should be out here about 10:15. So again, I'm going to end the broadcast, and everybody have a wonderful day. Bye.